How can technology market real estate? On the next episode of the Uri Man Show, we'll be joined by Michael Garfield, the High Tech Texan, known for using technology to market real estate all over Texas. I'm Uri Man, the host of the Uri Man Show. Today we're joined by Michael Garfield. If you don't know who Michael Garfield is, and you asked anybody in Houston, who is Mr. Texas, they might say either Governor Abbott or Michael Garfield. Michael Garfield is known as the High Tech Texan, and he's joining us live here in the studio. Thanks for joining us today, Michael.
It's great. It's a big introduction, so I appreciate that.
Well,
Thank
you're
you.
a big deal. So.
Well, I appreciate that. Maybe it's my hair. It's not so much me.
I appreciate you being on. So you are a media personality. You're the host of iHeartRadio TV shows. You help sell products. Tell me a little bit about the types of things that you're doing today.
Well, I guess we can use the word celebrating about 22, 23 years of me being, this quote unquote media personality. It was kind of a brand that I created about 2 decades ago.
The High Tech Texan?
The High Tech Texan, yeah.
Okay.
It started out, I love technology. I mean, consumer technology. I grew up, my dad built our television and things like that, but I was a communication major at the University of Texas, and I took my love of technology, I took my love of communication, and so I figured the world needs to understand in plain terms, how technology works and recommending some products. And so my job is really to evaluate, review products from televisions to computers to cars to phones and what have you. I have a great opportunity on iHeartRadio for now 22 years in Houston. I'm on KPRC AM and across the world on iHeartRadio.
Is that one of the longest running radio shows?
It is the longest running radio show
Really?
on the Heritage Talk Station in Houston. So I'm that old. Yes, I am.
Okay.
But technology is changing, and so have I. I do a lot of consumer lifestyles. I work with a lot of, land developers, products and services.
Let's talk about that because our audience is interested in land development, and it's a great transition. I know, for example, you have been the face of Land Tejas for many years. Land Tejas is the largest developer of master plan communities in the Houston market, and they are focused on technology. So how did that fit? How does land development and technology work? Were they really first pioneers in certain types of technologies? Like, how did you mesh the two, technology and land development?
Land Tejas, you're right. They are the largest master plan community here in Houston, in the area. About 20 years ago, right after I created the High Tech Texan brand, I was pretty much the only person in media or anywhere who was talking about technology of how it can help you, how it can help families and businesses. And one of the co-owners and co-founders of Land Tejas, Al Brende, who still is involved in obviously land development today, he reached out to me, very marketing oriented, and that's the key. You have to be marketing forward oriented, quick thinking. But Land Tejas was one of the first master plan communities to mandate high-speed internet, fiber, all the way to the home. I mean, if you're a builder and you're buying a lot, you had to make sure that your home was pre-wired to make things the smart home, way before the word smart home was around 20 plus years ago.
So it's a big differentiator. You're telling anybody who buys a home, any builder who buys a lot, if they're going to build a home, they have to have this type of technology in the home.
Future-proof, if you will.
Okay,
I mean, everything. I mean, who knew what Cat 6 wiring was? Cat 5 wiring was way back in the day. But anyway, Land Tejas did it, and Land Tejas needed to market it. They reached out to me, and I was, kind of relatively early in my career. They said, hey, Michael, you talk about technology. Can you come in and promote the fact that we, mandate all of our homes that are built in our communities, are future-proof, these smart homes? And I said, absolutely. And that relationship with Land Tejas now has been well over 20 years. I have seen them grow. And the fact is they continue to use technology. They continue to market. They work so well with not only home builders, but community awareness, what they're doing with the Lagoon right now. They're still forward thinking.
I saw recently a video where you appeared talking about a 12-foot sidewalk. I want to talk about this for a minute, which is pretty interesting. It was called the Green Bowl Trail.
That's right.
And tell us what was special about it, and how did that fit into what you do as a marketing person?
Well, and again, it goes back to Land Tejas. That was actually one of their developments. It was Balmoral, which is on the north side of Houston. And when they build communities, they think of how is this going to play out, not only now in the short term, but, can families grow up, and how we're going to commute in the future. Well, nowadays, we want to rely less on, automobiles, gas-powered automobiles. How do we get from homes to the lagoons? How do we get to the amenities? So the green space in this case is a very large, wide sidewalk, for lack of a better term, where you could take maybe an electric cart, maybe a golf cart, maybe scooters, just a healthy walking path to connect those communities. And that's one of the highlights that this company, that Lantea specifically did, and we highlighted in an interesting video. So it is technology to some extent, but it's also a new consumer lifestyle way of living.
And so you have a kind of unique way of getting the word out to consumers, and by creating this great visuals. You're a host. You talk about you obviously you have a great commanding presence. We're here in the podcast, and I could see you have a lot of experience. How, for example, what you're doing now, I've noticed you're doing a lot of things with entertainment. So at Lagoon, they have concerts, and you're very involved in that. What role do you have with the concerts at Lagoon?
Well, I've worked with Lantea so long, and I've seen them just continue to expand what they're trying to do. I went to Crystal Lagoon several years ago, and now they have the largest Crystal Lagoon in Texas. It's specifically Lagoon. I've worked with their management team, and I think they realized that I have a little tiny wee bit of sales and marketing experience. I like energy, and I this is my personality, really,
right.
Whether it's on the radio, in front of the camera, or in front of people. And so I've also had the wherewithal to be able to meet so many people, not only here in the Houston area, but across Texas, in terms of potential marketing or sponsorship and partnerships is really what I'm involved in. So they brought me in to really help with the sales, the marketing, and the partnerships. One of the unique, relatively new features that Lagoon Fest, Texas, if you will, they've done, they created a floating stage. It's never been done that before. It's a massive stage floating in the 24 million gallon lagoon, and they're bringing in country artists. And so I'm there to help promote it, not only on my radio show, but also to just the general community to come out. And it's I don't want to call it a loss leader, but we want people to, at the end of the day, visit the lagoon and then also potentially buy homes in that particular community and have something that's so unique and so picturesque and so Instagrammable, if you will, is that floating stage. So I'm out there just trying to get the word out.
So a lot of people don't realize, but marketing real estate requires, if you're lucky enough to find somebody like yourself, Michael, you need to have somebody out there who's really the face of discussing what are the benefits of living in this community. And you can do it all. And you're doing this for different companies today. How many clients do you normally have at a time?
Well, it all depends. It's actually quite seasonal, if you will. During the holiday season, there's a lot of consumer products. Between phones or televisions or whatever companies are trying to promote. They want airtime. They want discussions on my radio show and what have you. So holidays we kind of beef it up. But year round, we go back to this. We go back to Lantea in the lagoon. It's a cycle. I mean, people are always looking to buy homes, and I know maybe right now we're in a little downturn because of what's going on with the mortgage. But the Houston area is relatively quite flat, which is actually a good thing. I mean, there's no state income taxes, and so at any given time, to answer your question, I'm going to probably have 3, 4, 5, 6 holidays. I probably could have up to a dozen, but I try to focus on every one of them because they all have goals. They want to move product.
I saw you don't use an iPhone. You have a different kind. What kind of phone is that? Are you promoting this phone too?
It's not so much a promoting. I'm actually testing it. This particular one I'm holding, this is from Samsung. This is one of their newest foldable phone, which is really neat. And the fact is, people always give me a little business going, Michael, you're the High Tech Texan. Why don't you have an Apple? Why don't you have an iPhone? Well, quite simply, it's the Android operating system is the world's most popular operating system. So I talk more to my audiences around the world. It's not like I particularly rag or hate Apple, but this is a unique
Did they invite you to be involved in the phone in some way?
One of the neat things I got to do this past summer is I got to go to Seoul, Korea. So Seoul, South Korea, which is the headquarters of Samsung. There was a worldwide press conference where they debuted their foldable and their flip phones. And so I got to go visit the Samsung campus. And I've been a Samsung user, not really an endorser, not an official, partner of them, but it helps me understand and explain products, which, obviously, so I have the inside information of, why this product can help you, why is it so good, and, why is it a forward-thinking company. So it was neat to actually go out with the worldwide media. They go over to see what's going on in Asia.
Neat.
Yeah, it is neat. Yeah.
So you're not originally from Houston, but you've been here how many years?
I've been here 30 years. I am a Texan. I'm a fifth-generation Texan.
Okay.
Yeah, I am from a little city up north called Dallas.
Okay.
Went to school at the University of Texas, and now I'm in Houston. I luckily did not pick up that Texas accent. So actually, it's nice to be able to get on national TV.
There's two kinds of people. There's people that live in Houston and people that are thinking about moving to Houston.
Oh, right? Is that how it works?
That's how it
works.
I
use the state of Texas, but Houston it's a great city and it continues to grow.
Michael, if you're so successful today with everything you do, representing all of these products, master plan communities, land development, and you've reached this success. But if you could look back, if you met yourself 20 years earlier, what's one tip or one hint or piece of advice that you would give yourself, your younger self, if you could meet yourself 20 years earlier?
Actually, I'll go back right when I started my career. I was on the NBC TV affiliate, one of the first things I did in media here. And I asked that question. I asked for advice from one of the anchors when I was sitting on the anchor desk. And I said, give me a tip, give me something. And I'm waiting for him to say, look at the camera, slow down when you talk. I'm really sage advice. And he just looked at me, he goes, moisturize your face. But he had a point. He goes, if you want to stay in this business, at least on TV, take care of yourself and your body.
Right.
So, kind of fast forwarding, when I talk to kids, I have 3 boys who are now out of college.
Moisturize your face. Moisturize your
That's
face.
one, exactly.
Okay.
But honestly, in terms, get out there. Don't be shy to take chances and look at new opportunities in the world of business. Listen, 20 years ago, we had no idea what ChatGPT, we really had no idea what social media was. On the forefront of anything, whatever business that you have, start researching it. And you maybe want to become the expert in that. And you maybe want to create a business that plays off of that. Don't just sit in whatever you learned in school, because what I learned in school in the late 1980s in college, nothing is the same whatsoever. So keep looking forward and just grasping on of what's happening today and thinking, what's going to happen in the future.
That's great advice. You got to be forward looking. You can't just be looking at what's happening today. Think about the future. Keep that in mind. That's what you're saying is, look at what's happening in the future.
Exactly right. Not only now, but what's going to be happening in 5 years, but also 20 years from right now.
Okay. And considering that, since you're such an expert in technology, what do you think is the biggest thing that people are not thinking about today that's going to be affecting our lives in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think the buzz right now, certainly just anecdotally from the calls I get on the radio show and the questions, it's a lot about electric cars. Is now the time to get an electric car? Is not. I mean,
I don't drive an electric car.
Neither do I. Yeah. And actually, that's the issue. I think I love electric cars. I think they're fast. I think they're sexy. I think they do help the earth. But the fact is, the battery charging infrastructure in the United States is not there yet. But there's also AI, artificial intelligence, and we've got the ChatGPT, which it's just, we're in the fingernail of it right now. How can it help? But also, how can it hurt different aspects in industries? And so just, that's an example of, finding out something that is new in the industry, specifically how it could affect your industry, your business, glomming onto it, becoming that expert, and see how it can help you.
Okay, great. Michael, thank you very much. Great, very insightful. Appreciate you being on the show today.
I appreciate it. Congrats on your success.